Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Wired to Be Rich. If you're a returning listener, hi, friends. I am so happy to be back with you for another episode. And if you're new here, hi. You will not regret being here, truly. You'll probably binge a few episodes and end up sending at least one to someone you love because we have real conversations here. Not surface level, not performative, real authentic, real life, real growth, real expansion. Everything I talk about here is things that I actually go through on a personal level, not what other people go through, not what I see other people doing. This is my real life and real conversations that I'm so fortunate to have. Today's episode is about something I've been noticing in myself and in so many of you, especially by some of y'all's comments on Spotify. This habit of living in the future, the one day energy, one day it'll happen, one day I'll feel secure. One day I'll meet him or her. One day I'll have the money. One day I'll relax. One day I'll exhale. And meanwhile, your actual life is happening to you right now. We're talking about how to stop spiritually time traveling into a fantasy version of your vision, right? Of yourself. And start actually inhabiting the one that you're building. The life that you're actually building. This isn't about shrinking your vision. It's not about postponing your joy. It's about being authentically you. So if you're ready, let's jump right into it.
She's not just a podcast host. She's a movement.
Manda Lea is teaching people how to break cycles and build real wealth, mentally, financially, and spiritually.
People all over the world are waking up to her message.
Wired to Be Rich isn't just a podcast, it's a mindset shift.
She makes you believe again in yourself, in your power, in your ability to actually have the life you always known was meant for you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Manda Lea, entrepreneur, speaker, and founder of Balance and Destiny, and this is Wired to Be Rich. Okay, let's be honest. Some of us are addicted to potential, right? Whether that's potential in other people or potential in ourselves. We fall for someone who someone could become. We attach to the next version of ourselves before we've fully inhabited the current one. We love the idea of what's coming more than we honor what's already here. And on the outside, that can look ambitious, right? It can look visionary. It can even look spiritual. But sometimes it's just avoidance wearing a polished outfit. I say this grounded, not preachy to you all. I have embodied the spirit of being enough for a while now. Just ask my family and friends. They've seen the shift. They're witnessing it firsthand. And they've watched me stop negotiating my own worth in real time. They've seen me move from steadiness instead of urgency. And as I continue living in that truth, I feel myself becoming more whole, more anchored, more solid in my own identity. When you truly internalize that you are enough, your nervous system softens. You stop gripping to outcomes. You stop trying to secure love before it disappears. You stop trying to control how a career unfolds. You stop trying to cosplay different identities because you don't know who you really are or what you even want. And you realize that you are the creator of your reality, not through force, but through embodiment, through choice, through how you show up for yourself every single day, the habits you have, the routines you stick to. I think that's why in dating and in my career, I don't feel anxious anymore. I'm not spiraling about where it's going. I'm not trying to lock something in. I'm living in my body and in my truth and in my own identity. And that started because of a situation that I dealt with some months ago. I started realizing I want to start actually being present with how I feel when I'm around people. I really do learn through experience, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And as I get older, I go deeper into that. I don't operate from anxiety. I don't operate from the need to control, which is also why I can look back and understand why I attracted a controlling partner in my most recent relationship. He mirrored the exact wounds that were ready to be healed in my nervous system. The parts of me that once equated intensity with love. The parts that were used to tension and didn't even realize that I was bracing the entire time. He reflected something that needed to be seen clearly so it could be released. And I learned quickly through experience. I don't sit in denial. I integrate. I evolved. Something I've noticed about myself, honestly, is I don't have visitation dreams often either. But when I do, they always align with what's happening in my current life. It's crazy. They're never random. They're like super precise. Not even like, oh, this could mean it's super precise. And a few months ago, I had one. I was back in my last apartment. This is before I moved to my new apartment. And I was contemplating really, really hard whether I should move to Chicago or stay here in Texas and stay in a relationship that I wasn't fully sure would nourish me long term. In the dream, I was talking to my dad. I told him that I had two options and both felt hard to choose from. And he was laying next to me, calm, steady, and he said, don't get so caught up in what you want that you don't see what's right in front of you. And then he smirked, he smiled at me. It wasn't like ominous or anything or heavy. It felt like he knew something, like he understood something that I had not fully realized yet. It felt like he was reminding me that there was a third option. Not Chicago, not shrinking to fit a relationship, but something else. And I think that third option was me. Not the version of me trying to choose the least painful path, not the version trying to predict the future, but the version fully anchored in herself. The version who doesn't choose from fear of missing out or fear of being alone. The version who sees clearly what is aligned right now. When you're addicted to potential, you frame your life as two doors. It's either this or that, him or the city, this job or that title. But presence opens something else. It opens the option where you don't abandon yourself to secure a future. Power is only ever available in the present, not in the fantasy, not in the one day. It's here in what's in front of you and who you are being. And when you're embodied, you don't have to rush into the next chapter. You become the author instead of the anxious reader trying to flip ahead. And I want to be honest again with you right here because I didn't always think this way. Again, like I said, I learned through my own experiences. I don't look at other people's lives and start picking up off things. Like this is things that I truly go through. And there was a version of me at one point that genuinely believed when I meet the right man, then my life will feel whole. I believed that when I land the right job title, the right salary, the right city, then I'll finally feel on top of the world. I wasn't weak for thinking that. I was human. And a lot of us are conditioned to tie our sense of arrival to external milestones, right? Maybe you felt that too. Like your real life is just slightly ahead of you, or like you're almost there, you're almost complete, you're almost secure, you're almost chosen. But here's what I realized, and I want you to sit with this gently. I already am whole, just like you are. I already am powerful. I already am on top of the world with everything and with nothing at the same time. Not because I have every desire fulfilled, but because my life isn't perfect, but because my identity is no longer having to hang on to an outcome. And when I used to say that I'll relax when ... I was really saying I don't feel safe yet. When I said I'll feel abundant when ... what I meant was I don't trust myself yet. And maybe that resonates for you too. Maybe the future goal isn't just a goal. Maybe it's a security blanket. But the shift happens when you realize that you can create safety internally before the external proof arrives. And I'm not saying this from a pedestal, you guys. I'm saying this as someone who had to experience it. I had to see that no partner could make me feel complete if I wasn't anchored in myself. No salary could stabilize me if my nervous system was still operating from comparison or urgency. No move to a new city could fix an identity that wasn't fully claimed. When you begin to feel whole with everything and nothing, you stop negotiating from lack. You stop dating from hunger or desperation. You stop working from panic. You stop making decisions just to feel ahead. And I want you to think about this for yourself. Where are you postponing your sense of arrival? Where are you telling yourself, once this happens, then I'll blank? What if you experimented with being that version of yourself now? Not delusionally or pretending or cosplaying, but just truly embodying the traits and the steadiness and the standards of your self-respect. Because here's the truth. When you feel whole now, you don't chase completion later. You choose from alignment. You don't grip or overextend yourself or try to earn what you already believe you deserve. And that changes everything because you stop being someone who's waiting to become someone. You're refining who you are in real time. And when you start moving like that, life responds differently. Not because you're forcing it, but because you're no longer asking to validate your existence. And when you start to feel whole now instead of later, something else becomes very clear. That this moment isn't a placeholder, it's your entry point. The present is the portal. The future you keep imagining is being built by who you are today. The tone that you bring into conversations, the standards you uphold when no one is watching, the way you manage your time, your money, your energy, the way you respond when something doesn't go as planned. That's the foundation. It's easy to think the future will be decided by one big moment, the move, the promotion, the relationship, the breakthrough. But most futures are shaped quietly by your patterns, your daily habits, the emotional baseline that you return to again and again. When you're not fully here, when your mind is always 5 steps ahead, you miss very important information. You overlook inconsistencies because you're attached to what something could become. You say yes too quickly because you're excited about the outcome. And you haven't even really realized what goes into what you're even doing. You stretch yourself financially or emotionally because you're performing an identity that you think you're becoming. And it can look like confidence. It can even look like faith. But presence requires discernment. And when you're grounded, you don't rush to do things. You don't inflate your story. You don't need to convince yourself that something is aligned because you just want it to be. You evaluate what's happening without attachment. That's real power, you guys. Being present sharpens your perception. It refines your standards. It strengthens your intuition. It keeps you from building on unstable ground. It allows choices about relationships, work, money, direction to come from clarity instead of projection. So instead of asking, where's this going? A more honest question becomes, what is this right now? Instead of asking, who will I be next year? The better question is, who am I being today? Because the portal isn't crazy. It's not dramatic. It's quiet. It's in your daily decisions, your daily habits. It's in how you show up when no one is validating you. It's in how you treat opportunities that don't come with fireworks. And when you respect the present like that, you stop hoping the future will save you. You build it. And this is what it looks like practically. This is where it becomes real life. This isn't about meditating for hours or trying to become some hyper optimized version of yourself overnight because you read a good book or you saw a good script or you talked to a friend that gave you great insight. It's about small, consistent shifts. It's about catching yourself mid-thought when you say, once I blank, and then you interrupt it. Once I move, once I meet the right person, once I hit that number, pause. Ask yourself, what part of that identity can I embody now? There's a certain energy that we all recognize when we see it, right? It's not loud. It's not trying to convince anyone that it doesn't need to announce itself. It's what it looks like when someone's outer life reflects their inner standards. I had to realize something about love specifically. If I truly want the kind of love that I say that I want, right? Grounded, generous, emotionally mature, secure, then I have to embody that first, not just desire it, embody it, you guys. And that part of embodying means being able to fully receive it. That was the deeper layer for me. Because you can say you want a big love, but if you're still shrinking, still bracing, still slightly afraid of being fully seen in your power, or still trying to figure out who you are, what you like and what you don't like, you won't be able to hold it. Release yourself from expectations. Release yourself from choosing things and people and places and opportunities that don't align with you. Release yourself from dimming yourself so you don't intimidate someone or overextending so you feel worthy. You're not aligned with the love that you claim if you're still doing that or the life that you want, right? I had to admit that to myself in order to fully receive the kind of partnership that I am envisioning. I had to stop being afraid of being the best version of me, fully expressed, clear, self-led, not too much. And if I am too much, then don't talk to me. I don't care, right? You're not in my circle, or you have the choice to not be in my circle. It really is not that serious. There was no fear of outgrowing dynamics for me anymore. There's no fear of standing alone if something isn't aligned, because secure love requires two whole people. Remember, mind you, I said whole, not perfect. Whole people that know who they are. And if I'm still operating from fear, from contraction, from trying to manage how I'm perceived, I'm not fully available for that, right? The same applies to wealth. The same applies to your career. If you want stability, become stable in how you move. If you want generosity, practice it. If you want respect, respect your own boundaries first. And this isn't me saying like, always, you know, be mean to people or whatever. No. When I say boundaries, I mean like your emotional bandwidth. Don't go past your own emotional bandwidth for the sake of other people. Do what you want and and don't do what you don't want. Alignment has this little look to it. It looks kind of structured and a little disciplined, but it's peaceful. You make your own decisions and you stick with it. It looks like someone who isn't rushing because they know they're building something solid. So if you're waiting to feel chosen, start choosing yourself in visible ways. Upgrade something small. Keep promises to yourself. Clean your space like someone important lives there because someone important does live there. And if you're waiting to feel wealthy, steward what you already have with intention. Know your numbers, budget, right? Whether that's on an app or handwritten. Know what you have. Move with awareness. Scale what comes after structure. Presence is not passive, you guys. It's disciplined attention, and it involves you living in a way that reflects who you say you are becoming without waiting for external validation first. You don't wait to become powerful because you already are. And this next part feels like the natural evolution of everything that we've been talking about. There is something deeply, deeply attractive about a person who is not rushing their own life or trying on multiple hats. You can feel it immediately. They have goals, they have vision, they're building. You see it. They're not pretending. They're not starving for the next milestone, the next, oh my gosh, I have to do this. They're not gripping the future like it's the only place that relief exists. They're just here. They're present in their own becoming. There's a calm confidence in someone who isn't auditioning for love, for success, or for validation. They're not trying to prove that they can do it better. They're not competing with ghosts. They're not performing to secure a spot. They simply just are. When you're not rushing, you don't operate from comparison. You don't feel the need to outshine someone else to feel worthy. You don't try to convince someone to choose you. You don't overextend to demonstrate value or growth. You don't tighten your grip when something else feels uncertain. You just observe and assess and move accordingly. There's no frantic feeling of, please let this work out so I can finally feel okay. There's no silent panic driving your decisions. There's no desperation hidden behind ambition. You just feel okay. And when you already feel okay, your timeline relaxes. Your standards sharpen. Your nervous system stays regulated. And you don't fantasize about one day as the moment you'll finally arrive. You understand that arrival is a state of being, right? Not an event. From that place, you build differently. I want to plug in one of my favorite books because of what I just said. What I just said is one of my favorite books. I always plug it and I'm going to plug it again. It's called The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. If you haven't read that book, please go read it. You really will get some gems in that book, you guys. But from that place, you built differently. You built calmly, strategically, and joyfully, and you let things unfold without trying to force them into a shape. You allow people to reveal themselves without trying to manage their perception of you. Who cares what people think? Who cares that they saw the old you and don't know the new you? Who cares that they don't know how hard you work? Who cares? You just trust your own pacing and trust that you know what you're doing. You don't need the validation. And ironically, that's when things start accelerating, seriously, because there's no resistance anymore. There's no overcompensation. There's no misalignment being dragged along for the sake of momentum. That's the energy of someone who is no longer waiting to be saved by a future that doesn't exist yet. That's someone who understands that their life isn't behind schedule. That's someone who knows their worth doesn't increase when something external clicks into place. Maybe your life isn't waiting to begin. Maybe it already has, right? Maybe the shift isn't about adding more goals, more pressure, more timelines. Maybe it's just about inhabiting what's already here more fully and living life, seeing the world, understanding who you are, being present in your body, in your stillness, in the calmness. Maybe it's about inhabiting what's already here more fully, or walking into your own life instead of hovering just above it. So, stop postponing your enjoyment. Stop scheduling your peace like it's an appointment you'll get to after everything is perfect. The version of you that exists in the future, the calm one, the secure one, the abundant one, is being built by how you show up today. Not by what happens to you, but by how you move, what you tolerate, what you practice. If this episode hit you somewhere, if you felt seen, called forward, or even slightly uncomfortable in a good way, I want you to do something with that. I want you to share it with someone who is always saying one day. Send it to the friend who keeps postponing their own joy. Post it to your story. Let's normalize living now. And I really want to hear from you. What part landed? What made you pause? What are you realizing about your own once I blank patterns? You can email me at info@balancedestiny.com or DM me on Instagram at ForbesManda_. And of course, as always, I will link these both in the show notes below. I read your messages and your comments, you guys. I read about what resonates. I post some of them sometimes, but other times I keep it to myself in my own little scrapbook on my phone. I care about what resonates. This isn't a one-way connection, you guys. Like the episode, share it, respond to it, and let me know where you are in this season, because one day is cute, but today is powerful. I will see y'all next week. Bye.